Welcome to all of you spiritual warriors, light workers, and most importantly, entrepreneurs out there. This is Rory Mute from the 50 Entrepreneurs in 50 Days Abundance Mission, and I am beyond excited to have my fellow teammate and dear friend Dan Yearn here today. So let's get into this divine rabbit hole immediately, eh? Welcome, Dan.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Rory. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, bro. Thank you for coming. So like real quick, man, I got a confession. Like your content captured me like a ray of sunshine, bro. I mean, it was like watching Rocky punch his way up all those stairs in Philly all those years ago. So I'm ready to hear about this holistic wellness empire of yours. But have you got theme music yet? Or are you still working on that?
It's getting there. It's getting there. Sometimes you can hear like a little faint bit of the intro music when I'm walking in.
Sweet, man. Sweet. Well, bro, I know that you're awesome. I mean, you've got abs of steel. You're a spiritual ninja. But seriously, what's the secret sauce that's got people saying, whatever Dan is drinking, I need a gallon of that stuff now?
Hey, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. And I would say it's me being me. People don't see, someone. And speaking from what I've heard people say, people don't see someone who's, jacked, that doesn't promote steroids and doesn't eat like a boring diet and is not in the gym 24/7. And it's like, I'm this character who has an insane physique, but I'm always outside. I'm always in nature. And, it's like almost like two opposites combined, because you see someone who I guess you could say looks like a warrior, but they're in the garden. It's like that saying, you'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And it's like, I feel like I have the two sides mastered. Everyone wants to have a better physique. Everyone wants to feel better physically and mentally and emotionally. But they also want to get on top of the eating habits, and they want to understand how, food can be medicine, and they want to understand how to work better with nature. And I think that's what I bring to the holistic wellness community, where as normally you would only see someone who's like has lots of knowledge in herbs and holistic wellness in that sense, but they don't have the aesthetic appeal, whereas I've married the two. And as well as obviously spirituality, because everything is spiritual. So really it's a trifecta. And that, I think that's the secret sauce, man, that keeps people interested.
Yeesh, Dan. You sound like a love child between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Yoda here. I mean, trust me, I'm sold. But how do you convince doubters? The ones that think holistic wellness, is that just kind of drinking kale and smoothies and lighting fancy candles?
Yeah, no, you've always got the doubters, you've always got the naysayers, and the way I prove people wrong, and I show people that this is real by just my results and the results of the people that I've worked with. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, facts and figures don't lie, results don't lie. So I've been very transparent in my story, and sharing stories of people that I've worked with. Admittedly, there's a lot more I can do in terms of marketing and showing what I actually do in the background. But I don't know, man. I think it's an energy thing, because I don't lie on social media, because it's about being real. I want to share what is the things that's changed my life. And that honesty and that transparency, people see it and they just trust me. And the ones that don't, they just don't trust themselves. You know, that's how we turn the atheists into believers, man.
Jeez, man. Well, I mean, I know you, Dan. So like, you're very humble. I've seen you bloody going out serving the poor and stuff like that as well. So that's trying to give you some props there, man. It's what humbles me. Seeing someone your age, half my age, and doing such great acts, my brother. But holistic wellness, you know, is that just a fancier way of saying I drink green juice and judge you for eating pizza? Or, like, how do you crush that myth faster than a smoothie in a NutriBullet?
Hey, realistically, holistic wellness is understanding that life is not, we don't look at life from a one-track mindset. You know, some people, they're focused on holistic wellness, and to them, that's just, you know, lighting sage and drinking cacao, you know. And for some people, it's caring for animals and not eating any animals. And for some people, it's just eating raw animals, just taking bites out of live cows. You know, it's different things to different people. Everyone has their own school of thought. But my school of thought and what I believe, what I know because actually if I say believe, that means that I don't actually have 100% faith in it. But what I know to be true is that there is no one right way of doing, well, actually there is, and that's what I do. And the one right way, the true holistic way of living is doing what works best for you. And there is the one method for doing that, you know, and I'm happy to say, I'm confident enough to say that life has shown me how to live holistically, and that's what I portray. You know, it's not, you know, being holy and judging people. It's living a real life, understanding that there's many elements to life. There's the physical element, there is the mental element, there's the spiritual element, you know, and there are corresponding parts to all these things. There is a spiritual element to nutrition. There's a spiritual element to fitness. You know, there's a physical element. Everything has its corresponding element, basically. And when it comes to what you put in your body, like in terms of food, in terms of drink, nourishment, in terms of what you consume through your eye gates and your ear gates, everything it's holistic wellness is about taking all these things into consideration and making sure that the golden number is 90%. 90% of what you consume is building you, you know, is pure for you, right? And is edifying to your soul, to your body, and to your spirit. That's what holistic wellness is, man. That's the truth behind it. I hope that wasn't more confusing.
No, man. No, it isn't. Well, it isn't to me, mate. And I don't think it was confusing to the audience either, my friend. In fact, it sounded pretty profound to me, my brother. But, you know, what's your response to people who think self-care just means taking bubble baths and listening to whale sounds?
Hey, that's what some people need. You know, if you need whale sounds and bubble baths, then go ahead. But there are two sides to it. Most people, like I said, many people think what they're practicing is holistic wellness, when in actuality they're only targeting one side of things. People think of when you put the word holistic and wellness, because I'm not saying personal training or fitness and nutrition, you know, they assume it's something soft. You know, like you said, you know, with the whale sounds and the bubble baths. That's but it's holistic. We're attacking all ground. You know, it's about strengthening but also being able to relax. You know, it's about building a warrior mindset, but knowing how to switch off and turn into the playful child. It's about mastering both fronts. So if you can only do one, you're not actually successful in taking care of yourself fully. If you only know how to be soft, if you only know how to get into your, the parasympathetic nervous system, if you only know how to get into your rest and digest, or if you only know how to get into fight or flight, if you only know how to get active, get busy, you're doing something wrong. You need to master both.
Balance is what I hear, Jedi Master.
Right. Yin yang, yin yang. I don't like to call it balance because it's not really balanced. We go through different phases, and this is one of the key tenets of what I call the holistic warrior mindset. And this was taught to me actually. I gained inspiration from our mentor, right? You're either in balance or focus, and in that you can't have both, right? You can't have both at the same time. So there are times where you are extremely yin and times where you're extremely yang, and that's what creates the balance.
Man, I feel you. Last night I was at a yin yoga new moon session.
Wow.
Really, really amazing, welcoming in the new year. Very focused on the darkness, making space for that darkness, and sort of shining this is what I got out of it, shining a glimmer of light into the dark spaces.
Beautiful.
I found that quite profound, actually. And, the one thing I got out of that was this one word, alignment. Alignment. And I mean, whale sounds are proven to be like a little bit more than just the average sound. Actually, whale sound and dolphin sounds are actually meant to be healing. So, I was just throwing that in there for people who actually think that's soft or whatever. But people say holistic wellness success is all about luck, man. Like finding a unicorn in a Whole Foods parking lot. How do you show them it's more about grit than glitter, bro?
Right. I mean, with everything, you get out what you put in, right? And it's all about your way of thinking. If you believe something is hard to come by, it's going to be hard to come by. If you believe success in any endeavor is only for a select few that you're not a part of, then 99% of the time, you're not going to taste the success that you don't think you're deserving of anyway. So to people that think that, I would just say your perception is your reality. So you're right.
How do you calm the skeptic who's convinced that holistic wellness will bankrupt them with overpriced essential oils?
I have zero essential oils. Deeper than that, it's about finding alignment where you are. People think when I become this, when I get more money, I'll be able to focus on my health. You make do with what you have right here, right now. The beauty of holistic wellness is you can actually change your life starting today. It starts with the intention. And if you believe, the essential oils are great. I don't spend my money partying. I don't spend my money doing, I guess, things most people do to have fun, which I don't see any problem with it. But I spend money on the things that I like, the things that I enjoy, which happens to be buying things like tinctures, buying incense, going to like sound baths and things like that, because these are things that make my soul happy. You know, my response to someone who thinks they're going to go bankrupt buying essential oils is, if you don't like that, then you don't have to splash out on that. But at the same time, it's about the whole journey is about finding what feels healing to you. What started me on my journey was free. It was nature. It was trees. I don't have to pay for that. You know, my journey's been cheap. You know, everything that we need to live in a state of vitality and infinite abundance is given to us by Earth. So for the most part, we can live in a state of vitality for free.
Absolutely, bro. That's why I worship in nature, my friend. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get through a couple more of these challenging questions for you, my friend.
Yeah.
But no, just hearing you talk about nature, I still remember this one time I was running through the forest in Margaret River over here. Absolutely stunning place. One of my favourite places, actually. It was about 4 a.m. in the morning, and I discovered my spirit animal that day. And I still remember it clear as day, man. Running through this forest, a bit of fog around. The sun was coming up, just sort of starting to crack the horizon. And I don't know if you've heard of a kookaburra or a kookaburra, depending on how you pronounce it. But I kind of looked up to my right, and there was this kookaburra sort of flying, I don't know, about 10 meters up. And it was flying right next to me, man. And it went, like, I don't know, man. Most people hear the kookaburra when it's like, the cackling laughter, but they have another voice, man. And this one literally stopped me in my tracks, and I was looking at this bird and I was in absolute awe, man. And that is the power of being out there in nature. There's nothing in a nightclub or that can give you that feeling, bro. And I've been there, man. I'm not like you, man. I haven't had a pure, like, you've got like the start, man. I envy you, Dan, because you got so much power there, bro. So tell me, man, what happened to stop a good-looking, absolute, to me, chick magnet like you? Good God, for you females out there, sorry, sometimes a little bit rough, but bro, someone who could dominate in the nightclubs, if you will. Why is it that didn't appeal to you?
That's a good question, man. What I believe is because obviously that the way my lifestyle, the way I live is, especially when I was like younger, just about turning the age where we can actually go into all the clubs and things like that. The way I lived my life is not the way my friends were living their life or how they wanted to live their life. And for me, I can become very fixated on something. So if my fixation happened to be, clubbing or being in the night scene and things like that, I would have gone all in on that. But it just so happened to be that my fixation was on, at the time, it was being being one of the greatest martial artists ever. That was my goal. That was my fixation. And that's how I got into boxing. So, people going out, partying, meeting girls and like getting robbed. I never fell into those situations because I was always at the boxing gym, or I was at home doing push-ups, or I was trying to make some new fancy meal for myself. I can't, like from my young, like my early years, I don't have some like crazy thing that happened to me. Well, the crazy thing that happened to me was I guess a few years back, not that long ago, but when I was younger, that was just my vision, and I was just fixated on it. Yeah, it's different.
That's cool, man. So what do you say to someone who's had that kind of life? Maybe they're a bit older, maybe they're my age, and they're just looking for something different. How, where would you start with them?
That's a good question. Everyone's looking. Well, once you get to a certain point, no one wants to live the same life on repeat. And especially if you've got that thought in your head of like, I need something different. I've been living the same life over and over and over again. Especially if there's habits that you're clinging on to that aren't serving your highest self. It's a powerful thought. It's a powerful question to pose to yourself. And the best way to start, to be honest, is listing where you are right now, listing your habits, the things about yourself that you don't like, the things you do that you don't like, the ways that you look that you don't like, and writing down how you would desire to be, how you would desire to look, how you would desire to feel, and meditate on these things. How it would feel to, look the way you want to be, to have the lifestyle that you want to have, and to meditate on that and think about what's the first step that you can take to get there. All you have to think about is the first step. It is really about compounding effects. It's a snowball effect. So maybe step 1 is eat an apple. You're still keeping the same, everything you're doing is the same, but what you've added is, now I'm going to eat an apple. And boom, that's one feeling. You've added some energy to yourself, and it's like, oh, I've eaten an apple, now I feel good. And the next is going to be, I'm going to drink some water. You drank the water, it's like, yeah, now I feel good. Next is going to be, I'm going to go for a walk. Boom, compounding. All of a sudden, you've changed out all your old habits for a new lifestyle. You've created a new life. And you just have to start in increments like that. Every time, people say go big or go home. And depending on your capacity, if you're first starting out, if you go big, you will always go home. Right? If you start off big, it's not going to last. I've done this so many times. Created big goals for myself and I failed. Having the failure is not a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but the halt in momentum is a painful thing. It slows you down. Momentum is momentum. You want to keep that momentum going no matter how small it is, because it compounds. So that would be my advice. Start small. What do you need to do today? What is step 1? And start there.
Good advice, my friend. Yeah, I've gone big plenty of times and ended up on my face, so I know what that's like, my brother. But meditation, you mentioned meditation. What do you say to someone who meditated once, fell asleep, and now calls it a scam?
Sit up, don't meditate in your bed. Well, there's many different forms of meditation. I had someone ask me this yesterday, actually. There's many forms of meditation. Life can be a meditation. Going about your day to day can be a meditation. And it's not some woo-woo thing. It's not this extremely complex subject. It's really not. It's scientific and it works. There's more than enough scientific data to show the benefits of meditation. How you can access the theta and the alpha brain waves, which is akin to being in a flow state. It's when you're in your most suggestible state, just like being asleep. So in fact, if you meditate and you fall asleep, you're doing something right, but you need to maintain that state being semi-conscious in that state and not completely falling asleep. That's some high level stuff. But when it comes to meditating, you can start so small. Just start with something like box breathing. You know, it's about just resetting your nervous system. Most people are living in a highly stressed state. Once you bring your stress levels down, reduce your stress hormones, then you can think wider. You know, you expand your consciousness by reducing your stress levels. So something like simple box breathing, and you monitor how you feel. Write down how you feel before and how you feel after. And literally something like set a timer for, your concentration levels. Set a timer for 2.5 minutes. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and you just keep going. Try and focus on your breathing, and you will get distracted, but that's okay. As soon as you notice that your mind's drifted, bring your attention back to your breath. And it's that action that is the meditation. It is the bringing of your awareness back to the thing that you want your awareness to be focused on, right? Because it goes so deep. Meditation is so powerful because it is the act of bringing your awareness to that which you want to be aware of. Most people are fixed to a frequency of negativity subconsciously, which is so dangerous because it just keeps attracting negativity. You know, and they're like, why is my life like this? You know, why does everything have to go wrong for me? And they don't realize that they are literally attuned to the frequency of negativity subconsciously. If there's to make a shift to the positive frequency, to the positive radio channel, they literally just change the channel on the radio, boom, they would attract nothing but positivity. And that's what meditation does for you in the long term. It teaches you to switch the channels to attract what it is you're actually looking for. I hope I'm selling meditation.
Mate, you absolutely did. And I'm listening to a book right now. In fact, guys, here's an added bonus for you, okay? If you want to know about the power of meditation, download Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I was listening to that last night, man. And, that's some seriously powerful stuff. Yeah, you got it there? Oh, look at that, man. Look at that. See how I attracted that into this? Man, that's not a trick, guys. This is not edited. But, yeah, like addiction to negative thoughts, right? You can get addicted to negative thoughts, and that is scientific. Because we are the only human beings are the only creature on the planet, right? Let me just quickly dive into this then real quick to the things that are value add that's really kind of important now. A lion is chasing a gazelle, right? In the jungle, okay? The gazelle's eating grass, the lion stalks up, and the chase is on, the gazelle takes off. There's two things that happen, right? Either the lion catches the gazelle and then things get pretty ugly. It's usually where I switch it off a little bit. Or the gazelle gets away. And then all that happens after that is the gazelle goes back to eating grass, right? And the lion's pretty tired and looking for its next meal. Okay? So there's no... That's classic fight or flight, right, in the animal kingdom. Now, with human beings, right, we have a traumatic experience like a lion chasing us or anything like that. We are the ones that can get stuck in reliving that experience over and over again in the past, in the future. And when that happens for a human being, when you're having a stressful experience, the human brain releases, I'm not sure what chemical it is, but it releases a specific chemical that gives you a spike, that gives you an energy spike, which gets you going, right? So the brain, by reliving that, can get addicted to that chemical. That's about as simply as I could put it. But no other creature in the animal kingdom has that issue, right? So you can get addicted to negative thoughts, and then you could be subconsciously feeding those negative thoughts because of that addiction to a chemical that your brain is releasing. So I mean, meditation, it's just like, if you don't get that meditate, especially in this day and age, that meditation is the key. Just, man, start reading. All right, Dan, we got our mentorship call coming up, my friend. So let's get into a couple final questions, my man. And then maybe I'll get you back on for some more specific stuff. But, you know, if you could go back and give advice to yourself during your I'm about to eat a pint of ice cream and call it a day phase, what would it be? And would your past self just roll their eyes or hit you with the spoon?
I would tell my past self, I had a very different, now that I think about it, I had a very different story compared to most people when it comes to their health. You know, most people struggle to put the fork or the spoon down, and I was the opposite. Actually, I remember to have my first amateur fight, right? To make weight, I didn't eat for a couple days, right up until the day of my fight. When I weighed in, I was like, yes, I made the weight. Then I went to the shops to get some food to eat, and I don't remember how long I didn't eat for, but it was so bad that I couldn't actually swallow the food. That had never happened to me. Like, it just wouldn't go down. So I binned it, and I fought that night, not having eaten in like a couple of days. So, and like I said, this is my brain that is super fixated. That's the way it goes. It's very, very extreme. So if I ever saw the young me about to tuck into a tub of ice cream, I'll say, yeah, eat that shit, man. Go ahead and eat that. Stop being scared of food, because food is fuel. You know, that is it. Food is fuel. And I know the old me would be like, what? Eat the ice cream? Are you crazy? Like, you know, I'd probably get freaked out. But I would slap the young me, like, chill, like, chill out. Just, the food's not going to do anything to you. It's there to help you. Stop being scared of food. That's what I would say, man.
And mate, tell me about a time that broke your heart and how it shaped you today.
Wow. When I stopped boxing, man, that broke my heart. It felt like a breakup. Because at the time, you know, I was competing, and I was training super hard, training like 6-7 times a week, twice a day. But at the time, I was extremely depressed, man. Boxing was like it was a coping mechanism, and I wasn't treating boxing fairly, because I wasn't training and fighting for the reason I started off. You know, I was training to try and deal with what I was going through mentally and emotionally. But I needed to deal with that properly. I needed to address that without boxing. So I stopped boxing. I stopped competing to deal with that. And it was one of the hardest things I ever done, man. I cried. Just like when you break up with a girl, you get a rebound. I went into kickbox. I remember I walked into a kickboxing gym, and, you know, I did a warm up with him. I'd never thrown a kick in my life, but I got in the ring with every single fighter in that kickboxing gym, including the coach, and I beat the shit out of everyone, just because I missed boxing, man. They asked me to coach there. I'd never thrown a kick in my life, but I never went back. Just that was I never experienced heartbreak or a bad breakup until then. But it shaped me because it taught me to stop running from my problems. That when I felt pain, I used to inflict more pain on myself by torturous training. I thought that was a manly thing to do. But it was quite cowardly. I was hiding behind training instead of going within and fixing my problems. And now I know how to do that. Now I know how to be self-aware, how to be reflective. And I'm way stronger for it.
Dude, man, you're making me tear up, eh? Well, I think I'm going to listen to Rocky music after this. All right, mate, let's finish off with a funny one. If your wellness tribe were a reality show, what would it be called? The Zen Wars, The Battle for Inner Peace, or The Real Housewives of Holistic Healing?
Oh, that's a good one. I'll go with The Real Housewives of Holistic Healing, man. Because every day is going to be different. There's always some sort of drama because there's always a new plot twist in this life, full of curveballs. Because that's what grows us, Yeah, always some craziness. I'm always getting called up on some craziness. People that I coach, people that I've coached in the past. Yeah, this journey is spiritual and mental before it's physical. There's always something new, especially when you're trying to grow. Every level there's a different devil, as they say. And it's at the most on this journey.
True leadership is hard, my friend, but I can see leadership in you. Dan, we got to jump on our call, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. I cannot wait to put you out to the audience and show people what's possible when you go within instead of without. And I think that's pretty profound. If you don't go within, you will definitely be without. So let's end it there, my friend. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you to everyone who has watched today. If you want to learn a little bit more about what Dan is doing, you want to reach out to him, you want to connect about his training and his program, links in the comments, social media in the comments, and leave a comment about what you got out of this call today. See you on the next call, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dan, thanks for being here. And I'll see you the next time we get you up in front.
Well, Sam, thank you so much.